roll. Hey, that's hey, that's a tall feat, man. You know, if I see Willie out there jumping over lines, you know, blocking punts or whatnot, then I'll be like, yeah, he's playing that Cam Chancellor role. I know what he's saying, but boy, Cam Chancellor is a beast in his own. But switching to the offensive side of the ball, I had Bob Whitfield on the show Thursday. And we were talking about the Falcons bringing back this chop block scheme, something that he was familiar with that they had done under Jim Moore with Michael Vick. And, you know, he was saying that with the chop block scheme, and he brought up the Broncos game where they lost the Super Bowl to the Denver, the Falcons did. And, you know, he just brought up the fact that how the chop block scheme, you know, really helps the running back. And, you know, he talked about Terrell Davis and how it helped Terrell. But he was saying that a lot of teams, you know, that choose to go with the chop block scheme, you know, usually they get a 4th, 5th round running back, somebody that, you know, that has talent, but might not be like an Adrian Peterson. But with that chop block scheme, you know, it actually, you know, enables them to be able to improve their stats. So with the Falcons going back to this, how do you think the running game, which right now is Freeman, Anton Smith, and the young man we just drafted this year, how do you think that the run game will fare behind this chop block scheme?
Yeah, I think Bob was right on point. He knows about it from back in the day, you know, Terrell Davis and all those Bronco backs. But we just got to look to Washington in 2012. Alfred Morris ran for 6th round pick out of Florida Atlantic, ran for 1,600. That was the 3rd highest total of a rookie back, you know, behind Eric Dickerson and George Rogers. So certainly Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman should be able to get something going. I just don't know. Bob would know better the type of lineman that you need. You don't need the supposed world-class athlete lineman there to run this scheme. You just need the nasty, mean guys to get outside and hit that outside zone. But so the Falcons have that, but then, you know, you still got to protect. So we'll see. We'll see how the line shakes out. I think that's one of the biggest question marks going into the season.
Sports Kings Live, Rob Calloway being joined on the line right now by D. Orlando Ledbetter. Don't forget, we can be heard via Spreaker.com and also iHeartRadio. You can shoot us an email, sportskingslive@gmail.com. Now, looking at Matt Ryan, here he is, Atlanta's $100 million quarterback, another year under center. And there's nothing really bad that you can say about Matt Ryan other than he hasn't won the chip. Moving forward into this season, what is it that you would most likely, what is it that you would really like to see out of Matt Ryan as a quarterback this year?
Well, you know, I think he's a winner when he has the running game and the offensive line that protects him. If they don't do that, he's just a guy back there firing it around, and he's thrown for 4,000 yards in the last 4 seasons. So, you know, he's definitely not even the beginning of any of their problems. You got to protect him, and you need to mix in a running game with him so they're not predictable. So, you know, he needs, losing Tony Gonzalez and then just going all the way down to nothing at that tight end position was hurtful. They had been scouting tight ends for years, didn't pull the trigger on Fedaway, didn't pull the trigger on Jermaine Gresham, didn't pull the trigger on the Rudolph kid. So then the guy they get can't really play or can't catch. So, now they go out and get a veteran tight end, Jacob Tammy, who can at least catch. And that'll help Matt Ryan out. You know, it won't be so obvious that he's going to Roddy on 3rd down this year, and not so obvious that he'll have to check down so much. So that'll help Matt Ryan out. But he's a winner in my book. He does need help. He does need his running game. He does need a tight end as an extra outlet guy. But they knew that. That's how they won for 5 straight years in a row and got within a few yards of the Super Bowl.
Exactly. Now, here's my thing that I've been kind of curious about, and people that I've talked to, they've asked me this same question. You talk about Matt Ryan and this running game that he needs and how successful they have been for 5 years straight, okay? Where in the hell is Michael Turner? Like, Michael Turner is just like falling off the face of the earth. Where is this dude?
Hey, I think he's still around. He's in town out in Swanee. I think he lives in the same subdivision with Smitty. But yeah, he took a low profile after getting cut. I think he had tried out for a couple teams, and it didn't work out for him. So once their physical skills go, then they have to he's probably trying to figure out what he's going to do with his life now and move on to that second phase. A lot of guys, they're never ready to retire when it's time. So, but yeah, I haven't, he's around town. That's all I know about the burner right now. We'll try to find him this season and see if he can come help us out with some commentary or something.
Yeah, I mean, because for what they brought, for what Steven Jackson did when he got here, I still had to believe that Michael Turner had more in the tank. I mean, people here, started to write Michael Turner off their last season, and he and Jaquez split reps. But if anybody paid attention, Michael Turner still finished the year with like 985 yards, and Jaquez finished with like 900 yards. So if there was no Jaquez, there's a good chance that Michael still goes over 1,000, and then you don't have a Steven Jackson come in.
Well, yeah, I think you high on the yards, but I would have kept him for the 10 red zone touchdowns. Once they got in the red zone, they didn't have any answers here over the last couple of years. And Turner could at least, maybe he wasn't going to break you to 60, 70-yard Turner burner runs anymore, but he's going to still be able to pound that thing inside the goal line in short yardage. So I would have brought him back as a short yardage back.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the last thing on the offensive side, before I let you go, Julio Jones, this contract thing. Now we know that Julio and AJ Green are, they're both in the final year of their contract this year. We saw Dez Bryant and we saw Bebe Thomas. We saw them get paid just about 2 weeks ago. Why has there, and I know that you keep your ears to the ground. So why has there not been any real conversation about let's go ahead and lock Julio up now that we know? I mean, especially since we know what the going rate is. Like,
right?
Why has there not been any conversation? Like, let's go ahead and make this happen.
Yeah, they want to make it happen, but they're in no rush because, theoretically they have 3 more years of Julio left. He's got $10 million this year. They could franchise him for 16 and 17 at about an average of $15 million. So, it's a simple case of, hey, do I hold on to my cash now or pay it later? You're going to pay him. It's just, hey, do I need the cash flow now or do I get, do I do it later? So, we'll see some. It might not be before this season starts, but it definitely won't be before it ends. So, November is usually when they've done some of these deals, these contract extensions. I mean, there's no rush to do it now. Julio's not worried about it. And, certainly the team is going to probably try to do what's best for them for the long-range financial situation. So it's no rush. A lot of people don't really know about the franchise tag and how that works. But, he's going into the last year of his rookie deal, and I'm sure he won't come close to touching the free agency market.
All right, and my final question to you, D, the NFC South. We know how wild the NFC South has been. I think Carolina became the first team last year to actually win consecutive NFC crowns. When you look around the NFC South, we know that New Orleans has made some major moves, in my opinion. Junior Gillette gone, Jimmy Graham gone. They made some other moves. You look down in Tampa Bay, you got a brand new rookie quarterback in Jameis Winston, even though there are some weapons around Jameis. Then you look up at Carolina. I think the offensive situation for Carolina is pretty much still the same, but on the defensive side of the ball, we know that that's been their bell cow over the past few seasons. But when you look around the NFC South, are the Falcons, honestly, not being biased, but are the Falcons, honestly, the best team in the division right now?
No, I don't think so. I think it's Carolina.
Really?
They have the elite defense.
Right.
Nobody else has an elite unit in the whole South. You got Kuechly and Thomas Davis. They added Shaq Thompson. You got Kawan Short and Coney Ely had a disappointing year. And you got Charles Johnson, man. Charles Johnson has made a living against the Falcons the last few years. And, that's the closest thing to a legit elite unit in the conference. So because of that, I still think it's Carolina.
Wow. Well, we shall see. D. Orlando Ledbetter of the AJC, thank you so much for joining us talking the Atlanta Falcons. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, Atlanta Falcons training camp opens Friday at Flowery Branch. And, D, we look forward to talking to you once the season gets underway.
All right, Callaway, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right, thank you, sir. Have a good one.
You too.
All right.